So, I've been summoned. My last video on exoticals are being gaslit, about hypocrisy and diabolical people. It's getting a rebuttal video on how to spot an exotical, gaslighting, manipulation, hypocrisy. Which is so unfortunate because I tried to be as fair and balanced and unbiased as possible. But I think that my sincerity was mistaken for sinister behavior, which again is so unfortunate because I tried to be reasonable and fair and not make either side feel either way. And I thought that maybe because of my position in this community, that if anyone could bridge these two gaps, that I could be that type of person. But I think that my intentions were failed because the response to this video is very telling, that instead of wanting to lend compassion and understand someone else's perspective, she wants to double down and call everyone who doesn't agree with her, including her own followers, crazy. So it's very unfortunate, and I don't know if I'll do like a complete breakdown of the live because it was like really spotty. It was like kind of like erratic and belligerent. So I'll try to just pick the parts that make the most sense, that aren't her like making fun of people and calling them crazy. So just sit back and enjoy. So the very first thing that she led with is that she was not going to make a video about exoticals again, but she had to because there were racially unambiguous women who were subscribed to our channels who are now subscribed to her channels. So that goes to show you what the intention of this video actually is. Basically implying that even though she said that the first live was just a one-off, that she's literally only making this one for subscribers. And so that when people do try to hear the exotical side of the conversation, her videos pop up again to get more subscribers, which is fine. Everyone wants more subscribers. Literally everyone on the site wants subscribers, but not in spite of what other people have to say. And then she keeps saying that she wants us to have these channels, but then she calls them struggle channels and make fun of the views that we're getting and say that we're buying followers, or we're using voice moderators, and saying that she's only doing this to take subscribers from us. And I'm just like, do you have to? I mean, I don't know. It's just very immature, but that was literally just an intro. So we're going to get into the meat and bones of the conversation. So the next thing she says is like some fear-mongering stuff about Black women have to, up in arms because there's going to be some attacks on Black women from people that don't want to see you elevate. And again, I was a previous subscriber, so I get like the idealism of that. Like in a subconscious way, people have internalized colorism, whether it be outside of our community or inside of our community. And these are like psychological attacks on people that look a certain way compared to people that don't look a certain kind of way. But in real life, all women face that type of like fear. And I don't want to do like Black Lives Matter, all lives matter type of moment. But the fear mongering is like what I'm trying to point out here. It's like, I don't know. I think when someone tries to like scare tactic you into believing what they have to say and never listening to what anyone else has to say, it's giving caught. It's giving, I don't know. But yeah, that's my personal opinion on that. Again, I'm probably not going to go bar for bar because this video was like really long and like a lot of back and forth. But I'm going to try to pick on the parts that were just like insane. Like, and I even saw some of her followers commenting saying like what do you mean? And her like, like going off on them. So just continue watching and I'll point up everything that I saw. So the next thing she says is that this will be the last time making a video on exoticals, and that if any one of her followers ever bring up exoticals again, she's going to link them to this video, basically saying, regardless of what we say, if we identify as exoticals, we're all crazy psychos. And everything we say is gaslighting, no matter what. And everything she says, oh, it's the truth, and you better believe it. Because if not, well, I'll continue and let you know everything she said. But that was basically what she said to her own followers. Yeah, we're going to get into the signs of how you know you're in a cult. So she talks to unambiguous dark-skinned Black women who were subscribers to exotical channels and then found Chrissy's channel, and basically saying that they stopped subscribing to exotical channels because it was sinister. And I said that about in my last video as well. I think that that's one of the biggest ways to gaslight someone, is to act like everything they say is wrong and everything you say is right. And everything they say has pure intentions and everything you say is sinister and has some underlying evil context, even though that's not what you said. So that's like one of the telltale signs. And this has nothing to do with colorism. This can be a relationship, a business deal, a friendship, a family connection. If someone in your life is telling you that it's their way or the highway, and they know all the answers and they done figured it all out. You don't have to ask anyone else. If you bring up this, I'm going to link you to this, and this is all you need to know about that. Don't ask any more questions. That's a red flag, regardless of who you are. So that's also something that I wanted to point out. And clearly this video is dedicated to her getting followers to like jump ship and come to her side, which most of the people that are on my channel like to hear the nuance from both sides. So I'm not sure why she referenced my video thinking that both sides couldn't get a chance to be heard out. So Exoticals United said something about basically her content, which if you watch Exoticals United like habitually, you'll know that most of her talking points are like in opposition, or at least giving more context and nuance to the side of the other side of the coin to something that Chrissy may say. And she's always led with that. She's never like acted like that's not where she's getting her talking points from. But basically, I guess that was some sort of psychological trap to get Chrissy to like acknowledge the fact that, hey, you've been undermining the other side of this conversation. And I know you watch my channel just like I watch yours. So basically, I guess when Chrissy finally responded, Exoticals United said this was like a trap. And then Chrissy goes on to say that everything Exoticals do from now on is just a psychological trap. Like, I don't know. She gets into like reverse psychology, but we're gonna look up something called reverse psychology. Now, ladies, the last thing I want to do is give you guys like a psychology crash course, but we're women and we overanalyze things. And again, I want to just deep dive as much as possible and hear out both sides without allowing one side to gang up on the other. And I feel like that's what's happening here. So then she says something about Exoticals United's trap failing because she didn't get any more subscribers. So again, this is not about the conversation. This is about subscribers. She led by saying that's what this was about. And now she's basically saying it again, that if you like try to think about our side of it, then you're just crazy. And that if you choose to subscribe to something like this, that you're being manipulated. So you already don't want to hear the side of someone else. If I'm friends with you and we have like a mutual friend, and I tell you that this person is talking shit about you, and they say all these crazy things, whether you know this person said that or not, you're already like standoffish about it. Like you're already, you know what I mean? You already don't want to hear their side. And that's what this is giving. It's giving triangulation. So that's just something that I wanted to point out. And then she says that exotical channels don't like being exposed, when I don't know. I think EU, she took it like a G. She was like, yeah, I said that. But and again, I have nothing to hide. So break down my breakdowns as much as you want. But the part that gets me is she keeps bringing up subscribers. Like she keeps bringing up the fact that she wants to basically derail subscribers to her account. Like the only reason she made this video is so that when people try to look for our videos, they see her video. And then again, she starts saying like we're struggling for views and stuff like that. I don't know. It's basically giving, you're just trying to like get votes. Like you're trying to get people who want to see the other side to this, or just want to be on the fence and maybe haven't made a decision just yet. You're trying to get them to basically think that their opinion doesn't matter and you know best, and that if they're smart, they should just listen to what you have to say and not get a second opinion and not use their own brain to make their own decision. It's giving caught. And so again, she says that she was happy to be able to reach the unambiguous dark skinned women who first followed exotical channels, because she keeps saying that it's unfortunate that they, maybe deem themselves as exoticals or just are interested in exoticals' opinions. Which again, why can't people make their own decisions without being racist, Chrissy? Tisk tisk. So basically, she feels if you're dark skinned or unambiguous and you're watching exotical channels, that you don't know any better, and you're not allowed to make that type of decision, and that you're secretly being tricked into watching these videos. And she basically admitted that she's only putting the word exotical in her titles so that when people try to look for our side of the YouTube sphere, that they only get her videos. And there's like more fear mongering and basically saying that they're not falling for the tricks of black men. So why would they fall for the tricks of like black adjacent women who are just as colorist? Which again, I'm not saying there's no colorist people that they should avoid and stuff like that. But to project that onto every single channel, when again, you would not want someone to project one version of black woman onto you. That's literally what your entire channel is about. Not fair. Like, I don't know. It's just, I've never seen so much hypocrisy and lack of empathy. The first time I heard Exoticals United say that dark skinned women don't want to end colorism, they just want to flip it, I was like, that's kind of extreme. Like, I'm still trying to ease off from the Kool-Aid juice, y'all. I still got a little bit of what they call it, white savior, light skin savior complex. So I'm still weaning off that. I just want to start with that because one, being taken as someone who doesn't care about this conversation on both sides really hurts my feelings because I'm still weaning off of that. Like, I'm not saying I completely want to cut off my compassion for that side of the story, but that's not my side of the story. And that's the only story I've been repping my whole life. Y'all do not understand how pro-black I am. As a matter of fact, let's just tell like a short little story time real quick. I know I'm like going off from the storyline, but there's this one time, my mom, she always taught us hella like pro-black and stuff like that, like all the time. Like we would watch documentaries on skinheads and the Ku Klux Klan and the Aryan Brothers and stuff like that. And I was scared of bald white men my whole childhood. I thought they was all the KKK. So I was really indoctrinated in this stuff. And so long story short, it's Black History Month, and I have a white teacher. He's super cool. And he's basically talking about Black History Month. In school, they only talk about Malcolm X. Martin Luther King. They never talk about Malcolm X, who was my mother's favorite, one of her favorite civil rights leaders. And personally, my favorite by any means necessary. If you know, you know. But yeah, basically I was saying, that's not really how that went down. And I was talking about Afeni Shakur, who was the mother of Tupac, who was a part of the Black Panthers movement. I was just putting my own little spin on it and adding the context and the nuance that my teacher didn't know about Black History Month because it wasn't in the curriculum. So instead of him saying, no, I know better, I'm the teacher, blah, 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 you want to know what this man said? He said, wow, Exotical Epiphany, you're so smart. How about you teach the school for the day? And I was like, what, really? And this man really let me get up and share my experience on Black History Month. And so did all the rest of the class. So one, I've always been pro-Black. This is not, like to bash anybody or anything like that. And I would love to have someone like that. Someone who, instead of telling me, no, shut up, I know better, da, 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 you actually care about what I have to say. Care about what we all have to say. And I don't think Chris is coming from that point of view. That's why I told that story. But I just wanted to leave with that. I don't want anyone to think that I'm like a traitor to my race or something because I want the approval of biracial women. That's not what this is about at all. Okay, my bad. I'm sorry about rambling, but I just wanted to lead with that because if you don't like me, don't like me for me. Don't like me for something that I actually believe in. Please don't just make up things in your head and project that onto me. Now, if you don't like me, that's one thing, but don't like me for a real reason grounded in reality. Please do not project some idea of who you think I am onto me and then think that that's real life when I'm letting you know who I am, where I'm from, how I was raised, and trying to be as fair as possible. So that's the part that kind of threw me off with the video. Again, everybody has their own opinion, and these perspectives are really different. So I get that our talking points might contradict each other. And by the way, I believe in divine contradiction. It basically means that two things can be true at once. Like if I see a 6 on the floor, it's a 6 to me, but it's a 9 to you. So I don't believe that if we both say something that one person is the liar and one person is the manipulator. No, I believe two things can be true at once. So I also want to leave by saying that as well.
Instead, they're just going to use their platforms to gaslight, manipulate, and deflect. So we're going to go over some of what the Exoticals said and their responses to me. We're going to highlight the manipulation that's taking place in their sector. And I just want to prepare you for what's going to happen next, okay? Because these girls, they're, I'm not going to say they're smart because they're kind of dumb, but they really take advantage of the naivete and the stupidity of some black women, especially younger black women. So they've learned how to, rephrase stuff, and they've learned how to really do this whole covert colorism thing. And it's working on some of you. So we're going to break that.
So the first thing she said in that clip that really threw me off is that basically, again, if anyone wants to hear our side of the story, you're automatically being manipulated because we're all crazy, psycho, stalker, bitches, single white female hoes. Like, basically, that's what she's saying. Like, and that's never good. Like, for example, let's say if you and a friend are, let's say you and a friend of a friend, they're like in an argument or something, and both sides are basically blaming the other person. The way you know who is the aggressor and who is the actual victim is that the victim is still processing the trauma and is genuinely explaining to you from the bottom of their heart, from point A to point B, what happened from their side and what they think is going on and solutions to fix it. Meanwhile, the aggressor, they don't have a point. All they want you to know is that the other side is wrong. And they will do anything and say anything to make you believe that you shouldn't even hear this other person out because they're just this and they're just that. So that's basically what this is giving to me. And then she goes on to say that we're smart enough to be evil, maniacal, super geniuses that can trick everyone into watching our content. But we're dumb. We're so dumb. And anyone that follows us or chooses to watch our videos, including dark-skinned women, are dumb. So, yeah, that was very disappointing. Now, what I consider reverse psychology is like, I don't know. You guys can look it up. It's actually pretty simple. But to tell someone now, this is let's just take colorism out of this for a second. If this was any other YouTube sector, whether it be like music or celebrities or pop culture, whatever, if someone at someone or makes a accusation about someone on the internet, does the other person not respond? And if they do, are they automatically crazy stalkers that mirror and flip your behavior just to be oppositional and defiant towards you? Or are they just people who you've came for that have an opinion different than you? Like, that's so crazy to me. Like, basically, she said if any exotical breaks down her channel, that we're just crazy and we're insane and we're just trying to steal her content. Girl, what? If I was a rapper and you was a rapper and you diss me on a song, would I not go diss you on my song? Like, what do you mean we can't respond? What kind of narcissist shit is that? So now we're back on, she uses the word minimization to say that Exoticals United and other Exoticals minimized the threats that were made on her life, and basically says that we're doing this. This is just a ploy to get racially unambiguous dark-skinned women to trick them into following our channels, to trick them into believing that we don't support the degradation of our sisters who don't look like us. So now, what someone else does with their channel, that's them. But over here, that's not where I'm coming from at all. Hopefully that comes across. But what I will say about that, just to give, because with the last video, I was just trying to hit it bar for bar, so I wasn't staying on any point too long. But we can deep dive that. Like, I don't know. It's kind of like a dark, eerie topic. I didn't want to, like, stay on it for too long. But I feel the same way I felt before. Dude is deranged. He deserved every form of punishment that he got. Chrissy 100% did the right thing, getting that thing taken down. And I feel sorry that no one else stuck up for her, let alone women, but other men who were meant to defend women. You know what I mean? I just feel bad that she had to do that on her own. But to project what that man did onto an entire community based off one comment, that's not fair. No one would want to be compartmentalized or stereotyped that way or prejudged based off someone else's comment that they made a while ago. You know what I mean? Does that take away from the what happened? Absolutely not. But I think that's something that she's going to use to throw in the face of all exotical women, when an exotical didn't say that. Some evil black dude did. And if you are a black girl who has grown up around black guys, I've heard worse. Like, I've heard worse. And if you call that minimizing, I get it. But I call that projection. And we can keep throwing terms back and forth. But what's happening here is, instead of holding someone accountable for what they did say, you are projecting what someone else said onto them as a punishment because this person prided themselves in not talking crap about dark-skinned black women. And you're basically saying, I caught you. Yes, you did, because you said L about the picture and you commented on this crazy guy's channel. When I already gave my opinion on that, but and instead of her holding someone accountable for something that they actually did, she's projecting something else onto someone. And when we point that out, she says we're minimizing her trauma just so she can be a bigger victim. That's how I'm taking it. And then she basically says that, like I said in my last video, she basically said that the whole ghetto Barbie thing and you got the same black man thing, it's not equivalent to some guy threatening her. And I'm not here to, we're not finna weigh trauma, oh, who had it worse. We're not finna do that. But I'm gonna tell you this right now. If I was in a relationship that went left and I was being emotionally, physically, whatever type of abused, that would be way worse and more traumatic because that is a real life event that actually happened versus some troll on the internet who says this about all black women, not just you specifically. That's just my personal opinion. And I think that she threw the term minimization out there so quick so that when someone does want to weigh, and again, I'm not trying to say who had it worse. I'm just, again, trying to be logical here. Let's just say you had a sister. Would you want her to be in an abusive relationship for 2 years and get knocked upside the head, or just block some trolls on the internet? Which one would be a worse experience that you would, I mean, both you're going to need therapy. One is physical, emotional. The other one is verbal harassment. Both suck. But to act like saying someone who loved someone and trusted someone and was in a vulnerable union with someone who was betrayed and fetishized and beaten to a bloody pulp is worse than someone threatening. I don't know. That's just my personal opinion. And then she brought up false equivalence, basically saying that if we try to say that, basically she's saying that her trauma is bigger than anyone else's. What she went through was worse than what anybody else went through. And if you question that, you are minimizing her trauma. And you are using a false equivalence if you try to compare it to what she compared it to. She literally said that it's not equivalent and that what happened to her was worse, even though nothing happened to her. And these women that you talked about were real life women who really did get me mugged out of Walmart in real life in person, who really did, you know what I mean, get into a relationship with someone and hoping that things would go well and were treated terribly. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's just my personal opinion. If you feel like an internet troll is worse than an abusive relationship, that's your opinion, but that's just my personal opinion. But because she already said that, we're going to minimize her trauma, it's almost like you can't have an opinion. It's almost like it's her way or the highway. And if you don't agree with it, you already know. So then she jumps back to, which is really her whole goal for this video, is to sway the opinion of the dark-skinned, unambiguous women who are watching exotical channels. She goes on to say that if you do enjoy these channels, you're a token black person and the exotical community doesn't really appreciate you and we're just pandering and you don't really have a spot here. And that just gives more fear-mongering, and it makes you feel like nobody's on your side and everyone's your enemy. And if you don't stick to this one thing, that you won't be safe and things won't be okay. And that's one of the reasons why I'm subscribed, because I don't like that feeling. Of course, I want to support my people and help the underdog. That's literally I have a hero complex, a martyr complex. I love helping people. Sometimes it's my downfall, even outside of this whole conversation. It's just really messed up. And this is why I felt like she took it a little bit too personally, because now, again, I cannot speak for other channels, but to demonize this entire sphere as a whole and basically admit that your intention is to tell women that look like you that they're not allowed to subscribe to channels like this, where do you get off? Why do you get to make that decision for someone else? And why can't they subscribe to both or whatever? Why do you get to make that? Why do you get to tell someone that's their identity? If you're a dark-skinned girl or an unambiguous girl and you watch exotical channels, you're just a token black person and you're being tricked and they're just pandering. I don't know. It's almost like you can't make your own decision. And if you try to look outside and get a second opinion, you're going to be called a name. I don't know if you guys picked up on that, but that's why I said I didn't want to say everything she did bar for bar, because that's basically what the whole video is. The whole video is basically her trying to diverge women that look like her off of exotical channels, and if someone else does Google exotical, for her channel to pop up, and for other people to think that this side does not matter and these opinions do not matter, and they're just in rebellion to her content, which isn't true and isn't fair. And also, I think she's kind of confused on, and I get if she is, because a lot of our channels are faceless, but I think she's kind of confused on who are making these exotical channels, and who are watching them, because she keeps saying like, oh, you're not really an exotical, you think you just have a little bit of loose hair, or you got a little curl, oh, you're an exotical too, and basically saying that, and Exoticals United has never been shy about that. She's always admitted that she chose the name Exoticals United and not Biracials United, or Afro-Latinas United, because of the channel and what the purpose and the mission is for the channel, which is unity. So you demonizing her wanting to have a place of unity by saying she's just trying to get more subscribers is wild, because literally that's what you're doing, trying to diverge, girls that look like you off of these channels who were originally on these channels first. But yeah, she basically says that you're like, I don't know, like it's almost like Exoticals United still, like you're trying to like police features and stuff. And because she doesn't know what we look like, she doesn't know like the grain of our hair, the hue and shade of our skin, she can't deny or accept the fact that we would or wouldn't be considered exoticals based off her opinion. So she's basically insinuating that most of us couldn't be real exoticals, and we're just monoracial women, or unambiguous women, or women who got a slight curl, who hate themselves and basically want approval from the real exoticals, which I don't know. That's a wild assumption, and that's not what I've seen at all. In fact, there's so many different diverse exotical channels where everybody's different. It's like a box of chocolates. Everybody's channel is different. Everyone's coming from a different place. So I don't know why she would project that.
They think that will make themselves look better, right? They think that will make them appear to be unbothered about colorism, and they'll benefit somehow from that when they actually don't. Because I'm still trying to figure out what they're getting from that. I'm still trying to figure that out. What reward do they get from that? Besides a little pat on the head from the exoticals. Oh, you're a good little token. You're not like those other insecure, ugly, dark skin women over there. I mean, that's all you get. You get a look.
So basically, she's saying that if you are a dark-skinned girl and you relate to this content, that you're either lying about your features or you're just a token, and I don't know, you decided that you want to be on a side that you shouldn't be on or something. I don't understand why you have to pick sides, because a lot of people relate to both. A lot of people, like let's say if you have a deeper skin tone, but you have looser hair, but you've always considered yourself pro-black, you could go either or. You could go to Chrissy's channel because you have a deeper skin tone. You could go to Exoticals United channel because you have, with quote unquote good hair. So maybe you could relate to that content as well. Or maybe you could be somewhere in between, kind of like my channel, where maybe the way you perceive yourself is not the way other people perceive you. So I just feel like she's not giving people enough space to where maybe some people would relate to both channels. And it's not just, oh, if you're dark skinned and you watch this and you have a slight loose texture, then you're a liar and you can't be a real exotical. You just want to be a token person. I don't know. That's really mean. I just don't like that idea that someone can't make their own decision and decide, wait a minute, I kind of relate to both of these. So this is where I kind of have to call it a stalemate. She goes on to tell her followers that these channels are basically like they serve absolutely no purpose, and that all these channels aim to do is undermine the privilege and the movements of dark skinned Black women, and that it's a way just to mock you guys' plight. Again, that rubs me the wrong way, because girl, I done got maced. You don't know how many marches I done been on. You ain't finna tell me I ain't caught my stripes for the plight. But with that being said, why can't I celebrate my admixture? Why can't I talk about my experiences with my phenotype? Why can't I explain the nuance of what girls that look like me have gone through without it being an issue, or without it being like these conversations don't matter? Yeah, you lost me there. Yo, and then she said, like, remember, whenever you click on one of their videos, you're supporting their evil agenda. She was like, no, wait. Because a subscriber was like, but wait, Chrissy, you watched the video? She was like, yeah, well, I can do that because I'm doing it to get information for you. Like, yo, she did it again, bruh. Like, when we do it, crazy stalker. When she do it, just information, keeping tabs. Yeesh. So I think I finally understand what Exoticals United meant when she said that they don't want to fix colorism. They don't care about compassionate conversations. And I'm not going to say they because I hate, like, throwing people into boxes. So what I mean right now is Chrissy right now, she might have a change of heart, but right now, her and her main followers, that's what I mean by they. Just because you are dark skinned, that does not mean this is the way I feel about you. You have your own opinion. You can make up your own mind. You don't have to listen to me, her. You don't gotta listen to nobody. All I'm letting you know is I'm not trying to throw anyone in any box. I am not going to prejudge you, like, at all. So I just wanted to clarify that. But basically, she's saying that we've only created these channels because, like, we're narcissists and we want narcissist supply and we want to be on a pedestal, and basically saying that dark-skinned girls have been, because first she said they don't have the upper hand in the conversation, and then she backtracks and says, oh, well, we have had the upper hand in the conversation, but now they're jealous that we're getting too much attention and they want to take back the shine that we took from them. So what is it? Either you have the upper hand or you don't. I definitely clocked that. And then she goes on to say that we're lying about being competitive. Girl, how you know some of us not gay? How you know some of us not asexual? How you know some of us don't want to be involved with men, decenter men? How you know some of us, I don't know, like, what are we competing for? What is the competition? These niggas? Are you these niggas? Like, I'm so confused. What is the competition here? Now, if this was like more like specific, like maybe I don't know, let's say models. Most models, they be white and skinny, and if they are black, they gotta have the look. And the only time you really see a dark skinned girl is if she's like African or something. You really don't just see Black American girls like me. And even Tyra Banks, she got the look. Naomi, she got the look. That's not, regular black girls do not look like that. Let's be for real. So maybe if it was that, I could be like, oh yeah, in this specific situation, in this specific type of thing, you would have the right to say this is a competition, because people, it's the same thing with like fat people. It is a competition because designers say clothes look better on skinny people. So you have the right to say, hey, what about plus size model? Hey, what about dark skin, racially unambiguous model? So that would be like a reasonable competition. But she keeps throwing out like competition, competing for what? Because 9 times out of 10, you're pulling it back to men and not a specific situation. And the thing is, there are specific situations where colorism stops someone from getting something real, that tangible, that wasn't just a guy. In a way, because technically the example I'm about to give is like a guy, but there's a clip of Rick Ross, and there's a dark-skinned girl who can sing really good, and a light-skinned girl, terrible singer. And a light-skinned girl wins. So if she was to bring up that, I would be like, hey, in a music competition, this would be competition. You know what I mean? Like, but she just says convert competition as if a dark-skinned girl and a light-skinned girl can't be friends. There's some secret competition and they're not really your friend and they really hate you. Like, that is so unhealthy. Whether positive or negative, you should not be putting thoughts into other people's head. Like, same thing, let's say if you really like a boy and he doesn't text you back, why do you assume a whole bunch of negative shit like, oh, he's cheating or he doesn't like me or da-da-da-da? Girl, how you know he didn't get into a car accident? How you know he not sick? Why? And if you are going to assume something, why assume something negative? Why put that on someone else? So that's the part that like really, really threw me off. Why do you want people walking around feeling like they're in secret competition? Now, if this was a beauty pageant or again, something reasonable like modeling or singing where your looks actually matter, then I would give you that. But competition for what? Like, that's just not a healthy way to view another human being, period.
Nothing bad was said about those women. She just laughed at the picture. That's innuendo. Trying to act like you didn't imply something that you meant. Oh, well, those pics, they're just being used to represent unambiguous black women. You're projecting because you think those women are ugly. You're projecting because you think fat women are ugly. You're projecting because you think big noses on dark-skinned women are ugly. It's classic reverse psychology, y'all. Like, if y'all don't see what this is, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. So the innuendo is them implying or suggesting that certain women are unattractive or unappealing without actually saying that, and using reverse psychology and accusing you of thinking these women are ugly when it was them who used the photos to imply that. And mind you, the woman I played yesterday or the day before yesterday on the live stream, she actually said in her video, she was like, yeah, because you're ugly and you're mad because we look better than you. She actually said it. She didn't imply anything. And look, I would respect these women more if they were just honest about their intentions. Like, I actually respect the overt colorists. I actually respect those women who just say, look, you're ugly, we look better than you.
So, yeah, that was a mouthful, but I believe that she was referencing my breakdown video where I basically said that it was my personal opinion when Exoticals United said LOL the picture that she wasn't saying all the negative things she thought she was saying. She was saying what she said. Now, I also led with the fact that I am not going to assume anything, but I'm also not going to put my thinking cap on and think what this could have meant and how someone could have taken. I didn't write the comment. I don't know what she meant. Only she knows that. But I know what it said, and I know that you're trying to project something onto that and make it bigger than what it is. And instead of pointing out, hey, that lady, how do you know that lady in that picture doesn't think she's beautiful? No, seriously. Not everybody doesn't like. I will never forget. There was this boy I had a crush on, and he told me I wasn't big enough for him. He only he like them big. So not everybody is into twigs. Not everybody likes skinny bitches. That's not a thing for everybody. And there are some black men who, or even non-black men who are really into ethnic features. They like that. That is not a fetish. That is their type. They prefer that. So who are you to say that if we use this picture, we're making fun? Now, Brown Skin and Tacos, again, I said that I only watched 2 videos of hers, which are the 2 videos that Chrissy used in her live. So I don't know everything that she said. I only watched those 2 videos, and I made that very clear in my last video. So basically, I think she's trying to just pile us all together, which is what I love about this community, is that even though we're a united front, we all have our own opinions, and we don't like bring each other down when someone says something different. I wouldn't ever call someone ugly. But if that's what she did, again, I do not watch all her videos. Why would Chrissy go out her way to commend that? To be like, oh, yeah, see, look, they think we're all ugly. Look, this one said it. When you have a whole nother channel here who said, hey, you fat phobic? What, we gotta wear makeup? We gotta wear wig? What's wrong with the way she look? And you're basically saying that I'm using reverse psychology to trick people into thinking that this woman is beautiful because you think she's ugly. That's reverse psychology, and that might be the title of the video because that's insane. Now, am I going to act like this lady fit everybody's beauty standard? No. But are you going to convince me she's the ugliest person in the world? And if I use this picture to describe her, that like I'm just overtly colorist? Come on, that's not realistic. And again, I do not know what Exoticals United meant by LOL the picture. I watched the actual video, the Crimea River or something, and basically the lady was you can rewatch the video because I broke that down. But that was just my personal opinion. So I guess she took that as I'm trying to trick dark-skinned black women or plus-size women or whatever into thinking that we like them, but we're secretly mocking them. That's just not healthy. That is not healthy. It's not. Now, if someone really is being mean to you, you call that out. But to assume someone's saying some shit that they never, ever in their life said, and when they try to explain to you what they meant, you just cherry pick on what someone else said and assume that it's something more negative than what it is. I don't know. And this is one of those things where, and I'm not trying to be like genderist or whatever, but it's kind of hard having these conversations with women because women, it's like there's 10 tabs open at once. So we can't focus on one thing without bringing up the other. And that's like kind of illogical when you're trying to make a definitive point or trying to at least compromise with someone. And again, I don't think that's her goal here. I think her goal is to shut down everything Exoticals have to say and tell anyone if they're interested in what we have to say that they're being coerced and they're being tricked and they're being manipulated. And if they don't feel that way, then they're just a token. And if someone wants to call out and say, hey, this is actually what we meant by that, I don't know why you took it that way because this is what we meant, then we're just using reverse psychology and you shouldn't hear us out at all. When if this was a court of law, that would not stand. But because it's the internet and you're a stand, it stands. So, she basically ends the video with saying that if you are a light-skinned black girl and you identify as an exotical, basically you hate yourself and you're trying to use your admixture to be in proximity to exoticals and like biracial people. And if you're a dark skinned girl and maybe you have unambiguous features and you like this channel, that you're just a token. And if you don't fall under that umbrella, then you're just being tricked and manipulated into watching this channel because we're all crazy psychos who are tricking you into one thing. When my personal opinion is that you should have a personal opinion, that you should have free will, that you should be able to see both sides, get a second opinion, look over the information, and decide how you feel about each specific situation. Regardless of what it is, I feel like if there's two different sides going through something, both sides should be heard. And to say that one side should just be completely shut out and that you're going to put exoticals in your title so that when people Google that, they automatically find your video first so that they can basically disregard anything other people have to say, that's completely unfair. Now, am I going to co-sign every single exotical channel? No, I'm not going to do that. But I'm also not going to co-sign any pro-black channel that isn't, reasonable and level-headed. So for my channel personally and then I think she said something about my last video when I said that I think she took this too personally and that basically she again was saying I was minimizing her behavior and basically trying to trick dark-skinned women into caring and pandering. I don't know. But my opinion still stands, and I believe that she could have led this conversation with a little bit more compromise and a little bit more just neutral understanding. It came across that if you have an opinion that's different from hers, you're going to be called a name, whether it's a colorist crybaby or a token black person or a light-skinned girl with some curl that thinks she's an exotic when she's not. You're going to be made fun of, and she's going to basically psychoanalyze you and tell you there's something wrong with you if you choose to watch this type of content. And I think that that's just unreasonable. And anyone who tells you that they know all the answers and they're the way and they know everything and you should listen to everything they say, no, that's a red flag most definitely, regardless of what the situation is. So, and at the end of the video, she gives like some pictures to basically psychoanalyze people further. So I'm going to basically rebuttal with some pictures of my own on how I feel about her life. So I looked up some signs on how you know that you're in a cult. And it says that a cult is an organized group whose purpose is to dominate cult members through psychological manipulation and pressure strategies. And I know when people think cult, they think woo-woo or some crazy shit. But as long as they're treating you like there's only one way and you have to pay all your attention and all your subscriber money should go to them and stuff, that's when you know it's like, okay, something's off. Because most people don't care if you go to like the other side, if that makes sense. Like if you're a West Coast rapper, do you really care if people listen to East Coast rappers? So why she's acting like people can't watch this content without it being some type of devious way, and it's giving you're using these psychological terms to psychologically manipulate people into thinking they can't have a choice. And you're pressuring them into thinking if they choose to do this, then they're just tokenism, or they're just this, or they're just self-hating, or they're just that. So that was just something interesting that I noticed. So here's another picture, and it says that cult leaders are dynamic, unpredictable in nature, demand absolute loyalty, don't allow criticism, and possess immense charisma to ensure that their followers remain within the bounds that they've set for them. Most cult leaders are not highly educated. Now, what I got from that was, again, the erratic behavior, dynamic, unpredictable nature, demand absolute loyalty, basically. And then I remember her saying something like, if people still choose to subscribe to our channels and we blow up, then it's their fault. Basically, like coercing them into, absolute loyalty. Definitely, she does not allow room for criticism. And she is very charismatic. So there's that. So there's something called reverse psychology. Since we're using reverse psychology, it is an addictive form of overthinking how to communicate what you need to say very indirectly, but you think that you are so intelligent for understanding and mastering this ability and skill. Basically by that, it's someone who thinks they're very smug and they think that they're so self-aware and so above the conversation that instead of meeting you halfway in the middle and using your heart and speaking from compassion to truly understand the other party, it's almost like you over intellectualize the conversation to like disconnect yourself from it because you think that you're like above it, to the point to where you're speaking in riddles. And that's definitely what I got from the vibe. And then it goes on to say that it tends to fail and everyone involved is exhausted, and basically you have the same chances of failure in communicating, but at least it's a lot more costly, stressful, unnecessary, but at least you feel involved. And that's definitely how I feel after watching not even just the last few lives, but all her content, to be honest. You definitely leave feeling like a failure, like you're at war and you're losing and you're not smart enough because you can't pick up on all the sneaky stuff the light-skinned bitches are doing. Like, you definitely feel like a failure. You definitely feel exhausted. And, you know, it's almost like she does these things to wake people up, like, oh, look, you didn't even catch this. The light-skinned exoticals are gaslighting. Oh. It's almost like she just wants people to be at war. Now, I'm not saying you can't fight for a cause, but everyone's not your enemy. And you have to think about who you're really mad at, because, again, exoticals literally get the same, like a different side of the coin than what, dark-skinned women get. And instead of decentering men and leading to do that more and trying to find a way where, we might not be best friends, but we don't have to be enemies either, you just want to convince everyone who listens to this fear that they're stupid. That's insane. One of the most interesting things that I found, it says, how do gaslighters argue? And basically it says, other techniques that gaslighters might use include lying, hiding, or changing information, aka deleting videos or saying you don't know the context when we saw what we saw, projecting their own negative actions, faults, and shortcomings onto the victim, basically saying, I'm allowed to call you this because you called me that, accusing the victim of being mentally ill or crazy. I don't know, pick a nickname. There were like different 20 names to call exoticals crazy. Constantly bringing up attention and belittling the victim for their weakness. Basically saying we're colorless crybabies and I don't know. I guess she just doesn't care about these type of opinions. And I heard her say something like, they've never had the upper hand, and that we've always had the chance to speak our mind. When when I told you this was the first time I knew that this type of sphere even existed. I don't feel like a lot of light skinned girls, not even just light skin, anybody with features and certain textures of their hair and stuff, a lot of the sides have not been told. And I'm not saying that they haven't been told because of Chrissy at all. I'm just saying that you are the mainstream media for like Black women and representation. And a lot of us do agree with your content. We just can't relate to it all. So people aren't making this content like in spite of you. If anything, it's an inspiration. And I think she did say that, like, oh, my little channel created this entire specter. You should be proud of yourself for that. You know what I mean? Because if it wasn't for Chrissy, I wouldn't even know who Exoticals United was. And then people wouldn't know who I am. So I don't know why it's like she turned something that could be something so positive and be taken in a good way into something negative and take it the worst way possible and convince other people to do the same thing. So again, I think the whole point of her second live was to derail subscribers that look like her or have more similarities to her that she perceives onto her channel and off exotical channels, like permanently, and any new coming people, to basically make them feel like they shouldn't listen to anything we have to say. And I looked it up, and that's actually called mirroring manipulation. It is intentional mirroring is a deliberate imitation of other people to make them feel comfortable. It is used to promote rapport and can be used in the interest of the mirrored and also against their interests. It is therefore a technique with the intention of manipulation. So what I got from that was that when she was basically saying, oh, dark skin and ambiguous girls that are on exotical channels, oh, come to my channel, you'll have more things in common with me, and if you do relate to that stuff, then you're just a token and they're just pandering and you're probably not even a real exotical, basically trying to mirror them into thinking you would have more in common with us anyway, so why are you over there? And I feel like that's against their own interest, because if someone wants to see this side of the story, who are you to tell them if they decide to listen to exotical videos that there are all types of ways that you've psychoanalyzed them? That's definitely a form of manipulation. So everyone's been throwing around the term superiority complex. So I went ahead and Googled it. And it says people who have these disorders often have a distorted view of themselves and have unrealistic expectations from others. And when I said that, like, she took it a little bit too personal, that's what I basically meant, is that you think that, and again, I'm not trying to downplay or minimize any of the evil things that other people have said, but the specific people that you're attacking, the exotical channels, you're basically implying that these people like hate you or something, or have these insidious intentions against you. And I think that that's like a distorted view. And then you expect your followers to never hear these people out, and you call them names if they do, and if they don't completely agree with you, they're stupid. That's an unrealistic expectations of other people, and it makes it seem like you feel superior to other people, to the point to where if their opinions are different from yours, then they're just not smart enough, or their opinions just don't matter. So if you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much. I barely did. This was very, very draining. And again, I just wanted to break down all the things that I saw that kind of confused me, or I felt like didn't get any nuance at all. And again, I only really made this video because she specifically talked about my video and pointed out some things that I said and some others exotical channels said. But yeah, this is my personal opinion, guys. And if there's anything you think that I missed or looked over, feel free to add that. And if you are a subscriber, I'm not saying unsubscribe, but just know that you have a choice, and you're allowed to watch a YouTube channel without being psychoanalyzed or called a name. And if you are an exotical yourself and you have a channel yourself, you will always be welcome in this community. And there will be no triangulation. There will be no, oh, whose hair is looser? Are you really an exotical? How light are you? How light are you really? There will be no color, what's it called? Brown paper bag, caramel test. There will be none of that. If you felt like you can relate to this content, regardless of how loose your hair is, how light your skin is, you belong here. And for those that maybe feel like they don't belong, but they just want to listen, you're welcome to do that as well. And we're not going to call you names for it. So thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of your day.